Guys, the new week has started and let me say we've gone up a bit today on Monday, and I'm going to explain you guys exactly what I think will play out in the course of this week. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to quickly go to a clip of one of my favorite YouTubers, and I think what he says is really valuable in terms of what you should really guys be doing in the long term if you hold Bitcoin. Without further ado, let's start. So obviously Bitcoin right now is still trading sideways. We've seen a slight push today of about 3 to 4%, and we're still here hovering around this major support and resistance line. If we look at, however, the CME gap, right? And let me just refresh the screen. The CME gap forms over the weekend, right? And it is a price point where we usually tend to go to rather sooner than later. These gaps that are formed over the weekend, we can see the gap right here is still not closed, right? Obviously, we've come down to this level at 111,000 over the weekend, but the chart only counts throughout the week. So what I think will happen now in the coming few days, especially over this week, is that we're gonna come down and fill this gap here, which is around $111,000, before we then go higher again and go into a massive bull run, in my opinion. So I personally have put a long position, a position to buy some Bitcoin at 111. I think we're gonna fill that in the coming days. That's my takeaway here. And now, why did Bitcoin and also the S&P 500, we have the S&P 500 here, continue going up today, right? Obviously, we've had the tariffs, which pushed the price down quite a bit on Friday. And we've had the same thing happen in April. We've had a big drop in April when Trump first mentioned tariffs. But why did it now recover somewhat? Well, because Trump made a post and he said, don't worry about China, it will all be fine. I respect Xi Jinping, blah, blah, blah. So he's saying that, he's basically trying to calm the markets, and this post has also played effects in the markets, and I think it's just another flush out, right? Obviously for the traditional markets, we've not had a massive drop as for many altcoins and Bitcoin and many of the smaller coins, which is very unfortunate to have such an unreasonable dump for such a simple post. And it does not change anything about the fundamentals of the coins that we're investing into. Obviously, what it shows is, and what you should take away from this is, do not touch leverage at all, okay? Because you're just gonna get wrecked. You're basically just gambling. But nothing has changed in terms of our play in the fundamentals of the coins. Nothing has changed at all. I still think we're gonna go into a massive alt season. We're gonna top out, get an all-time high for Bitcoin and many altcoins, and eventually go into a bear market. So nothing has changed here. And if we look at Bitcoin and zoom out a bit onto the weekly, I want to show you guys these bull and bear market support bands, okay? And these lines, the bull and bear market support bands, it obviously consists of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. And then we have the SMA here, the 54-week moving average is the blue line. And what I want to show you guys is that whenever these lines converge, it usually gives us an indication of whether we're in a bull or in a bear market, right? So in 2021, I've marked it here. We've had a crossover, actually it was here, the crossover of these two lines, right? The bull and bear market support bands and the simple moving average, the 54 simple moving average have crossed over, and this was an indication that the bear market has started. And then they've crossed back over here, which was in April of 2023, a few weeks after the official bear market bottom, which is when we started going into a bull market. And what I want to point out here is that we are still above these lines. They have not converged yet. And until they converge with high accuracy, we cannot say that we're in a bear market yet. Another point to note is that usually, let me remove the bull and bear market support bands, we basically often bounce from here. We bounce from the 54-week simple moving average. We've bounced here, and it looks like we might bounce here again. And this is also a good sign that we are going higher and overall very positive. So in my opinion, now is a good time to stack up on some Bitcoin, some good altcoins like Ethereum, Solana, and potentially Dogecoin, and take it from there and go higher. And now I want to quickly play a clip from Crypto where he basically says, just buy and hold and don't do anything with your crypto. Buy and hold and you will outperform 99% of other traders. Play the clip.
This one strategy, this one thing you need to keep in mind if you do want to make money in crypto, whether with Bitcoin, whether with altcoins, whether with trading, whether with investing. This is what it comes down to. Two charts. The black line representing the Bitcoin price. The colored line representing the Bitcoin long-term holder net unrealized profit and loss ratio. So what this shows us is unspent transaction output. So basically movements on the Bitcoin blockchain which are older, and wait with me here until the very end. I will give you the punchline, which are older than 155 days. Meaning, if you buy or sell Bitcoin for that matter, you can even expand it to altcoins, and you are simply doing nothing for 155 days, you are outperforming the majority of the market. What you can see here is that everyone right now is still in belief, is still profitable as long as they are holding their Bitcoin or crypto for more than 155 days. In fact, you can see most of the time you will be profitable by simply doing nothing. And this is how I make my money. This big Bitcoin trade, 30 million US dollars in profits, that's because I didn't move anything. Just taking some profits every now and then, but I'm not acting based on fear or greed or something. What you can see, the short-term holder net unrealized profit and loss ratio is red all the time. It basically means you cannot make any profits, whether it's bull market or bear market. If you are buying and selling on a short-term basis, this indicator is calculated by all unspent transaction outputs younger than 155 days. So even though we are at an all-time high, these people are losing money. Take this as a learning. It's literally on-chain data telling you what to do. And the bottom line is relax, buy and hold.